Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I have an awesome match for you guys, kind of outlining how you should be playing against a Holy Priest. So I like this specific match because the first half of the match we were doing it all wrong, and we were kind of losing the match, and then we kind of changed up our strategy, and then we actually ended up winning, even though we were really behind. So I'm going to hop into this video and kind of show you guys what I mean by that, but I'll continue to talk about why you have to play this way against Holy Priest. But we are in Blade's Edge Arena. I'm playing Boomkin, Ellie Shaman, Resto Shaman, and we are playing against Holy Priest, Boomkin, Ellie Shaman, right? So we have a mirror, except we have a difference in healers. And at the start of this game, and for the majority of the start of this game, we are triple dotting, flame shock on everything, just throwing out a ton of damage, going for a CC when we can. I think kind of a minute or two into the game here, we start running at the priest. We start pressuring the priest because he is playing Vim. So we're like, okay, let's try to hit that Vim off. But it's not until about 5 minutes or maybe even longer, 6-7 minutes into this video, where we find our bearing and switch up our strategy. So I'll leave that for a little bit later in the video. But, currently we are triple dotting with Moonfire, Sunfire, and Flame Shock on all three targets. So we're doing a lot of damage. We're doing a lot of spread pressure. I could be going for some hexes, but the problem with hex against this team is that the Boomkin has a dispel, the Shaman has a dispel. So if I'm going for a hex on the priest, it's just going to get dispelled unless we double cover. It's not very realistic. But right now I have Ice Fury up. I'm targeting the priest, and this is what I was talking about a little bit, just getting a ton of damage out onto the priest. But since we're playing upstairs, we don't really have too much line of sight, but we're playing in a mirror, so they don't have too much line of sight either. But I have my Stormkeeper out right now, throwing out a ton of damage onto the priest with all of my procs. So the Ice Fury and Stormkeeper are coming out, but the priest does just run around line of sight, pops Desperate Prayer, does top himself, remove myself from that cap totem right there, making sure not to get stunned. Now the Flame Shock coming out onto pretty much everything. The priest does get Cyclone, and I kind of want to hit the priest more. So at this point in the game, we're still just like, okay, let's continue damage onto the priest, let's keep his Vim off, and we should win, right? But look at this, guys. The priest is at 90% mana. My Shaman is already probably about, 70% mana. And as far as defensive cooldowns, they still have every single cooldown in the book. Ray of Hope, Guardian, like, they have everything to save themselves. I do some nice knocks here onto the Boomkin, onto the Ellie to try to, get them away from us on the top of the map here. But nothing's really working, right? Nothing's really working because the Holy Priest has a spell called Prayer of Mending. And Prayer of Mending, guys, if you aren't aware, bounces between all of the party members when they take damage, and it just completely toughs them off. I think the priest has this on less than a 10-second cooldown. He pretty much presses it on cooldown, and the Prayer of Mending is topping everyone. That, in addition with Renew, is kind of why you can't AoE down Holy Priests, and that's really the point of this video, guys. You are not going to outspread pressure a Holy Priest, at least not until deep dampening, and in this video we weren't able to at all. And the reason being is, guys, is because with the Renews, with the Prayer Mendings, then the additional healing of, Light of Tears, Serenity, their defensive cooldowns with Ray of Hope, with Guardian, there's just no way you're going to push through all of their defensive cooldowns and manage to get a kill onto a Holy Priest. Not only that, but all of the AoE abilities that Holy Priests are utilizing are very mana efficient. So Priest is going to stay at almost 100% mana, 80-90% mana as this game is going further and further. And look at us. My Shaman is approaching 50% mana now. He's maybe at 60% mana, struggling to keep us alive, having to use a lot of defensive cooldowns to keep us alive. And guess what the Priest is doing? Palm, throwing out some Renews, throwing out a Serenity every now and then, and his team is full life. And the reason it's working so well is because we're triple dotting, right? So the way Prayer Mending works, guys, is every time someone takes damage, it's going to heal them, right? And then bounce to another party member. However, if you're only hitting one of the targets, guess what? It hits the person that the Prayer Mending was on first. Assuming you're targeting that player, it's going to heal them, bounce to someone else. But then if the other target is not taking any damage, it's not going to bounce off of them. It's just going to stick on them because guess what? They're not taking any damage. So that's kind of the basis of the strategy that we are going to switch to here in a second. But just rewinding a little bit, we do a nice go here onto the priest. He does use Guardian, so we do get some cooldowns. So that was like a really nice bash into stun go with a ton of damage, and we do get Guardian. So I mean, you can force cooldowns this way, but the problem is we are eventually going to lose, right? The priest is at almost 90% mana, and my Shaman is under half now. My Shaman's at 35%. And then look at us. We are completely rotting the enemy team Priest at 90% mana, completely chill, and the enemy team is almost full HP. So this strategy just is not going to work. So we're going to have to switch to a single target strategy where we're not bouncing the Prayer of Mendings on purpose. So even though Ellie Shamans have great multi-targeting damage, and even though Boomkins have great multi-targeting damage, we are going to stop damage on everything except one target. We can either pick the Shaman or the Druid. I guess we could pick Priest, but that'd be a little awkward just to run in a Holy Priest as Boomy Ellie. But we basically are going to choose one, only one, dot them, don't Flame Shock anything else, don't Lightning Bolt, don't cleave at all, and we'll pretty much go from there. So we're going to switch to that strategy here in a second. Mind Control's coming out, purge it onto Dippy, get that Root Beam. My Shaman's actually getting very low now. And at this point in the game is the point of the game where I was talking about, guys, where we are just running at the Priest, trying to keep his Vim off, and then seeing how that's going to help us. It's working a little bit better than just sitting in the middle of the map, I'm not going to lie, but at the end of the day, the Priest is going to be able to top himself. Here it is, he's topping himself, and my Shaman's taking a lot of pressure now, and since we're pushed in, both the Boomkin and the Ellie Shaman, are taking a ton of heat, and my Shaman's just going out of mana. So if we keep this up, we are going to lose, right? If we keep just running at the Priest, we're going to lose. If we stand in the middle of the map, we're going to get destroyed because my Shaman just can't heal through it. He's almost and so I think around this point, we're like, okay, we have to change something up. I'm not exactly sure what that is going to be yet, and I have heard of strategies where against Holy Priest you only single targets, and my friend Shifter actually was the one, the Boomkin was the one that really likes this strategy, and he was telling me about it. And I kind of mentioned it at the start of this game, and my teammates were like, no, let's just kill everything, and I was like, okay. And then I think there was a point where we were all pretty much dead. The enemy team had every single defensive. We were out of mana. And at that point, you should lose the game, right? If you have no defensives, you're out of mana, and the enemy team is all full HP and ready to absolutely destroy, like, you should lose. Like, the game is over. If you switch strategies, chances are you're still going to lose because it's too late. If the strategy is really that good where it carries that hard, you could technically still win, but that's a long shot. So the fact that you could even turn around the game this loss, like at this point, Shaman's at about 10 or 15% mana. Priest, guess what? Still 80% mana or so. Shaman is playing Adaptation, so we are doing a good job of cycloning that off, but we don't really have any stuns or anything to follow that up anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I mean, playing up top, I guess the one benefit is the knockoffs, but when we switch to this single target strategy, guys, we are going to jump off. We're going to go for CCs onto the Priest. We're only going to target one, and either the Boomkin or the Ellie works, kind of depending on what cooldowns they have and how they're playing. A lot of people ask me, what's the best target choice for, this comp, or what's the best target choice for that? Guys, a lot of it is very situational. It depends on who has trinkets. It depends where they're standing. It depends on a lot of things. Like, against this, I don't really want to kill Boomy because he can just go bear form and line, but if he's not going bear form and he's not lining, guess what? Boomy's all of a sudden a fantastic kill target. Same thing with Shaman. Sometimes Shaman's very difficult to kill if he's staying Ghost Wolf, running around a pillar, not making himself an option. Don't go him, but if he's running at you in the open with no wall, no trinket, just kill him, right? So it sounds very common sense when I say it out loud, but it's something that a lot of players could definitely work on, even including myself, to not get in this mundane mindset of just like, okay, we're only going Boomkin because Boomkins are good to kill. We're only going Shaman. No, you want to switch it up based on the situation. Do eat that cap totem right there, unfortunately. And I think this is about the time, guys, where I say to my team, let's change things up. We have to switch it up. So we jump underneath the bridge. And I'm still calling out to my teammates, guys, jump down. Like our Shaman Zoom, we have to utilize the pillar to our advantage. We have to constantly line of sight them. And then I think at this point, or very, very shortly, I was like, let's only go Boomkin. Stop dotting Ellie. Stop dotting Priest. Only go Boomkin, right? And like almost immediately, you can tell the difference in terms of pressure because the Priest palm isn't bouncing. Like the Priest right here, this is a perfect example. The palm is just sitting on himself. 8 stacks, it's not healing. If we were hitting the other two, it'd be bouncing all 8 stacks around, topping everyone on his team. But since we aren't letting that palm bounce, since we aren't allowing the Priest to utilize his AoE healing, we're actually doing a much better job just single targeting. So the Priest is still 95% mana or so, 10 minutes into this game, big because they have such good mana regen. But look at the pressure difference. Actually, My Boomkin is taking a little bit of heat, but look, guys, we're actually killing the Boomkin. We're actually killing the LA Shaman's taking a little bit of damage as well, and he does pop wall. So, I mean, you can also do double dotting as well and just not do it with the Priest so the palm gets stuck onto one target, but I really think just the single targeting is probably the way to go. But the Druid, every time he's pushing in, the Priest doesn't have that great of single target healing unless he's just standing there casting Flash Heal or normal heal, right? So we're throwing out Cyclones on the Priest, we're throwing out the Cyclones on the Boomkin to keep him nice and low. We have the Root Beams. I could go for a Hex, but like I said, it's not really worth it. Throwing out the Flame Shock, the Lava Burst, the Lightning Bolts, and next time we get like a nice Sky Fury, Ice Fury, Stormkeeper setup here on to the Druid, it's going to be very, very beneficial for us, right? So the beam comes out onto the Priest cast. Star Ballin is still taking a lot of pressure, and the line of sight is allowing us to live, so the positioning that we changed up from jumping from the top to the bottom is kind of allowing us to live, but then our offensive pressure is kind of allowing us to get a kill here. My Shaman's under some heat right now. I'm under some heat. I don't have wall available. Definitely need to do a better job of line of sighting here when dampening's in and we don't have really any defensive cooldowns and my Shaman's out of mana. But Starballin's still taking a lot of pressure, and once again, guys, we're only targeting one player, even though we're playing Boomkin Ellie, the king of cleave damage. When you're fighting a Holy Priest, especially as this comp, you really just want to slow it down and hit one guy. They're going to take so much more pressure just from this, and the Priest is going to have a really, really hard time healing through it. I'm trying to kill that cap there. I actually do target it, but it does explode before I can manage to kill it. Shear that Cyclone attempt right there, stun them, and they are running back up, and look at this, guys. The pressure just from a minute or two of changing the strategy has completely changed around. Starballin has to go bear form, has to retreat. They're running back up, and now we're in a position where we can kind of chase them. The Flame Shock does actually spread to the Priest and the Shaman here for a second, and as soon as that Flame Shock spreads to all three, look at them. They're all full HP. I want to make sure that my Flame Shock is only onto one target and not that I'm not multi-dotting there. Now it's the Flame Shock is off the Priest and the Shaman. Actually, it does go back on the Priest, but look, now we get a ton of pressure just from that one brief change. The Flash Heals are coming out, throwing out some roots. The Druid is Cyclone to keep him nice and low HP. Now the beam comes out, ton of damage coming out onto Starball, and he does eventually go down. So guys, just by changing our positioning and jumping off the map, and just by single targeting instead of spread pressuring, we went from literally about to lose the game, my Shaman being the Priest being 100% mana, to jumping down, single targeting, and we actually came back and won this match. This is how you're going to beat Holy Priest. This is how you're going to turn around the game. Here's the damage breakdown. Surprise, surprise, or no surprise, no surprise. We did a little bit less damage because for the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game, whatever, we were single targeting. We weren't multi-dotting, right? If we were multi-dotting, we would have done more damage, obviously. But since we were single targeting, we did less damage, but it was more effective damage because the Priest did a lot less healing. Guys, if this video was helpful, helping you guys understand how to take down Holy Priest, you don't fight too many, but when you do, they're really, really annoying to fight. Make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not like the video, make sure to thumbs it down. Talk to me in the comments about what you guys want to see for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.